Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by SoundWeb Studios and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's The Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We're here with an amazing gentleman who has 35 plus years in sales management and sales training, conducting seminars for various major firms. He also published a DVD collections about body language, author of The Unfinished Work Week, and lectures. He lectures at the Wharton School, and he also recognized as an authority in understanding and using body language throughout the selling process. And he also helps you how to interpret body language and the benefits of a myriad of markets involving learning a new language. Also, what the heck is she thinking? Situations, emojis, and gifts, and just about everything else. Gut feelings, attitudes, actions, and everything. It's well, you name it. He's done it all. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from Plus Studios and somewhere in beautiful downtown Florida. 35 plus years experience in sales management and sales training. And also the owner and inventor of BodyChats.com. Talk about that. And the author of the book, The Unfinished Work Week. Ladies and gentlemen, the multi-talented Andy Gateriewictz. Andy, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello, Mike. How you doing? Thank you very much for that introduction. That was very nice of you, sir.
Well, it's great to have you on board, Andy. So you have 35 years experience in sales marketing and sales training, conducting seminars for various major firms. You published a DVD collections about body language and author of The Unfinished Work Week. And you also in lecturing and also in the Wharton School. You're recognized as an authority in the understanding and using body language throughout the selling process. And of course, the learning thing is how to interpret body language, benefits in a myriad of markets, every situation possible, including social media. He's also the owner of BodyChat.com. We'll talk about that. And before getting all that, Andy, tell us how you first got started.
How did I get started? I went to a sales meeting way back when, and they gave out two books that day. One book was Dress for Success, which you've heard of course.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been reprinted many times. And then they gave us a book called Signals, Signals. And that was by Alan and Barbara Pease, Pease. And that book, Signals, was about body language. Now, when I began reading it, I said, okay, this is another sales ploy, blah, 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 blah. And so I read the book, and then I went out to prove it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to prove it wrong. So I'd go see my regional managers and say, let's get into this and see if it really works.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's been many years, Mike, but I haven't proven it wrong yet. It's real. And as I keep on getting into it, it's becoming more and more, you got to believe it. And we'll get into why you have to believe it. Much better than words. And it really is 80% of a conversation.
Mm-hmm. And that's very true as well, too. And I'm sure you can probably detecting body language right now. If you want to detect it, hey, that's fine, too. We'll just think about this, think about that, think about this, and everything else. And well,
you're only supposed to read it when the other person doesn't know you're reading.
That's very true. And we'll get into that. And what was that one precise moment that simply influenced you into getting into body language and what you do for your career?
Well, like I said, I was in sales. Mm-hmm. And so after I got into it, and I'd hit airports because I flew a lot and everything, and I just kept on watching people. And what really is really kind of cool is that you can actually say what a person's going to do next by what they're doing now. And the position of their bodies and their faces. It's not just one thing. People think that just because they're folding their hands or across their arms or being defensive. Well, that's not it. You got to read 4 different things of what the body's doing before you can even come up with a sentence. And then you've got many things you have to read within those 4 things.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, this is not, everybody thinks they know how to read by, you listen to a sportscaster on TV and says, oh, look at that pitcher's body language. Well, it takes a heck of a lot more than putting your head down and looking that way. All right. And when we get into it and you ask, I will tell you what you have to look for. And we can get into that. And because everybody thinks they know how to read it, and they really don't. Mm-hmm. But there's one thing they do know about, and that's their gut feeling.
Yes, gut feeling is important too. That's another one.
Yeah. And that is body language.
Mm-hmm.
How's that one for you?
How do you like that? And we will get into gut feelings, we'll get into emotions and attitudes, and of course, the new thing in social media, emojis and GIFs or GIFs out there. And I think that's something that's new territory, but I'm sure you can break that down. And we'll get to that very quickly with Andy Gateriewictz of BodyChat.com. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Molson Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson Zia has garnered great reviews. And Eve 11 enjoys by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassie, Forge Riley, and Manils. So grab your copy today by Mia Molson Zia, available on Amazon, and make sure it doesn't go missing. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com on 40 podcast platforms, heard in 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, and also on YouTube as well, too. Follow us on BitChute, Rumble. Also, follow us and subscribe on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok as well. And make sure you take us with you on any mobile device wherever you go. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies. Makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Don't forget to check the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas like T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more, go to Amazon.com. Check out Mia Molson Zia and great books like Missing, Once and Wrinkles. Support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Make sure you do so today. We're here with a gentleman with 35 plus years sales management and sales training experience, the author of the Unfinished Work Week, and the owner and founder of BodyChat.com, Andy Gateriewictz, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And of course, before we talk about your books as well, too, and BodyChat.com, you'll run into a situation as well, too, like with you've been on the road and everything else like that. And of course, you go to another country, you're learning a new language. That's another one. That's a big challenge as well, too, and even today's society. How does that affect body language?
Well, I'm happy you asked that. They've been studies. All right, this is scientific. This is not anything made up. They've been studies. One study was done with the Huang tribe in Southeast Asia. Huang. Never saw a city, never saw a town, never saw anything. Now, this study was done by a professor out of Dartmouth College, and she went down there and they gave tests like you would give somebody in the city. They also gave that test to the people in the tribe.
Wow!
And guess what? The reactions were the same. Yeah, isn't that something? What it is that most cultures, you think about Japanese, they're taught not to look in your eyes because that's disrespectful in Japanese culture.
Really? So it's like looking into another person's eyes is considered disrespect?
In Japanese, yeah.
Wow.
Whereas, in the Western societies and in Europe, of course, if you don't look at somebody's eyes, they think you're lying to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Or hiding something, yes.
Or hiding something.
Or they're shy, or they're afraid, or they're timid, or, it's just like, you're afraid you might get rejection, hurt, and, the list goes on and on and on about the whole.
That's why you have to put all these little things together, Mike, in order to get it right. Because you're right. In body language, just like in any language, a word can mean more than one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, when you put all the words together, then you're going to get a true meaning.
Mm-hmm.
But without it, just looking at one, no, you're not going to get it. So what the scientists and the researchers have found out is that approximately 80 to 85% of body language, and I hate to use that word because so many people think it's a big game, and it's not.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing is that 80 to 85% of body language is goes across cultures.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So even gestures like with Darwin, those are inborn. Those are inborn gestures. People have them. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why gestures are so important when reading body language. But you got to combine gestures and just think in your face, 250,000 gestures just in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to combine that with your positions. What positions you take when you're talking to people, etc. That figures into the play. All right. Posture
Oh, that's
figures
the most important. I see too many people slouch over and it seems to be totally forgotten. That's what you get play video games, guys.
yeah, exactly. Okay. But now you're starting to see that these things figure in. Then the last one you have to read is distance.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 distances, but people go in and out of distances. And so you want to be able to see what attitude and emotion a person is giving, because words themselves do not give you the attitude or emotions of a person speaking.
Mm-hmm.
When you read a book, you're making up your own idea in your book. That's your interpretation. But what gives words emotions and attitudes, what the meaning, that feeling, when you say feeling, I feel something,
Mm-hmm.
that comes from the limbic brain system, which controls emotions and attitudes that they see someone else doing. Your
Interesting.
emotions and attitudes.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of
Right.
interesting. I mean, that's unbelievable. The brain controls what you do. So I've done a little ebook called Why You Do What You Do.
Interesting. An ebook called Why You Do What You Do. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Why you do what you do. And we want everybody to write this down. So why you do what you do, and that is available out there, and tell a bit about it as well too.
Yeah, well, I put some of my articles together, and that's when I really got into the gut feeling, because now they're saying that you actually have 2 brains, one in your brain in your head and one brain in the stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I firmly believe that the stomach, when you feel something in your stomach, when you know something's not right, everything looks good on paper, everything looks good with the person, but you're feeling something isn't right. Feeling. Well, that feeling is an attitude or an emotion that the limbic brain system is putting into your stomach. And that's why they say, go with your gut feeling, go with your gut feeling. And you know what? Going with your gut feeling is most of the time right.
That's interesting. What about following your heart? Is that the same principle? Is that different?
Following your heart?
Yes.
Well, that's an emotion, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay. It's controlled by the limbic brain system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like I said, the steps to that is that your brain, because it stores your emotions and attitudes. And remember, emotions you are born with emotions.
Right. We all are.
Yes, it's in your DNA. My dad was a macho guy, but boy, if he saw a sentimental movie on TV, the tears would come down his face.
Lay off on the Hallmark movies, guys. Lay off the Hallmark, the Lifetime channel, TLC. Lay off on that, please, guys, will ya?
You don't want to do that, But anyhow, yeah. So your emotions are part of you. They're part of you, and your brain system knows it's part of you, and it will show you a feeling. The feeling is a manifestation of an emotion or an attitude. That's what a feeling is. This is all scientific, and it's what's great about it is it's brain control. You don't get to choose. It's brain control. Whereas words or a tone, that's controlled by you. Whatever tone you want to use, you can use. Whatever words you want to use, you can use. But when it comes time to the body movements, you can try it for a while, but as soon as you let your guard down, the true movements are going to come out. Remember the O.J. Simpson trial?
Yes, that's right. The true colors indeed. I totally remember that. Yes.
And that detective, the first time around, and then the second time around, F. Lee Bailey got him good.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I remember that. And
Yeah,
I think I remember the words of that defense attorney. It says if it don't fit, don't acquit or something like that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
still
If the
remember
glove
that.
doesn't
Yes.
fit, you got to acquit.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a line too, and they were using that as well too. Of course, you also I gotta be asking, even if you're listening or watching the Mike Wagner show or doing anything, or if we're having a conversation, or if you're doing activity, sometimes you wonder what is he or she thinking. There's like several poses, and one of them you had on there, a person was going like this, and some people go like this, or some people will go like this, or some people will go like this, and some will just have a regular. So it's like you wonder what is he or she thinking. What are some of the clues on that?
Yeah, yeah. And you know what that is, Mike? People look at this. Those are cues. Those are cues of saying, look for more. Look for more, because the rest of that body, those other three things I told you about, you might have gestures, but you need postures, positions, and distance to get that real sentence. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see a person steepling, like you had your hands up before and you're steepling your hands, normally that means that person knows more than you or feels they know more than you. It's a confidence thing.
Interesting.
Um, it normally starts at the waist, works its way up to the shoulders, and then gets in front of your mouth. When it's in front of your mouth, that person wants to talk.
Hmm.
That's
Interesting.
proven. Yeah. And so they normally wait until the end. You'll see it coming towards the end because whatever the host is saying, you're saying, let's say, but they feel they know more than you. They're going to show you up at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So that you watch for that. They come little cues. Now the body is also going to be telling you something else besides the hands. I have one picture in there that shows a lady with her hands, and they're steepled, but she's also got her arms resting on the chair, which makes her look bigger.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
Just like
now,
in the movies, you see like yeah, like in spy movies and everything. I know what you're talking about. I've seen that.
yeah. So now you're putting it together. Now you're starting to see that it's not just one thing that this body of ours is doing. It's all connected. All connected. So yeah, that's what you look for. You look for these cues, and then you say, okay, I got to look here, I got to look there, I got to look at the posture, the position, the distance. I got to look at more gestures. Yes, yes, you got to do all those things. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't control those things. You don't control your pupils of your eyes when they constrict when they don't like something. You don't
Mm-hmm.
control that.
Right. Or it's or like I can see it some of the films as well too, like a flinch or flick or anything like that. And sometimes, one little subtle move, or sometimes detectives will detect somebody like this means, somebody is like fibbing, lying, and everything else.
Oh,
And
you don't want to go to your face.
right.
You don't want to go to your face. That's a cue to look for the lie. All right. So if you see somebody just going to the fence, I used to have a salesperson that was great at getting appointments, but he couldn't sell for beans because he was always going to his neck, rubbing his neck and everything else, which is a sign of he did not believe in the product he was selling. If you
That's
send somebody,
true. That's true.
yeah, if you send somebody back out on that call, they all wanted to go back on the call because he does a great demonstration. They'd sell it.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So, but now you're starting to see you don't want to go to your face. Any type of hand movement to the face. Now, the other thing is that you want to look out for is the blinking of the eyes. So you're saying, okay, the guy's going to, or the lady's going to their face doing something, little touches. When we get older, little touches. When we're young and we tell a lie, we put our
Oh,
hand over our mouth.
yes, that's right. I remember that. Like, okay, we got the show going on here. Yes, honey, I do love you. Yeah, I love you. I love you. Yeah, I love you. I love you.
Yeah. And I really see it that way, but you don't because you're touching your eye and you're just touching it. So these are some of the things. These are some of the things that you look for. This micro stuff that you're looking for. Don't look at the big stuff. No, the big stuff they can be putting on, but the
Hmm.
micro stuff, there's no way in heck that they're putting it on.
Hmm.
So yeah, definitely that comes. But watch out for the blinking of the eyes. Normal blinking of your eyes, you blink 10 to 12 times every minute.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and this is once again science, normally people that lie can, believe it or not, blink up to 55 times a minute.
55 times a minute? Oh my goodness.
See, you don't believe it. I didn't believe it either when I first saw that, until I saw Mr. Wagner of Twitter in front of the congressional committee. And as soon as I asked him a question, he started to talk. And that's also on our app. His eyes, I swear to you, blinked at least 50 times.
Wow.
At least. And now, of course, we found out later on that the guy, of course, was, you know, not exactly telling the truth at those hearings. Like,
Do you think we should watch that with Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or anybody else, or even celebrities? Should we start watching out for that now?
Of course you should. Of course you should. But remember, those are cues to look for other things that support that feeling. It's congruent. And in other words, it's congruent with what they're saying. The body and the words are agreeing. But you'll see a lot of incongruency. All right. There's I won't talk politics because that's not right to do.
I was kidding about that, by the way, with Trump and Biden. I was kidding. So
no, that's okay, because listen, everybody sees politicians every day on the screen. Mm-hmm. And you better believe politicians are taught not to do certain things. But once again, when they're caught off guard or they get caught off of their act, they resort back to doing what the brain is telling them to do.
That's interesting.
So, yeah, as a matter of fact, I have politicians in the app where I've taken them out of the normal stream. I have one that a person is sitting in a chair all by themselves, but it was very kind of interesting because they're staring into space. Now think of this, they're staring into space on a chair. They have got their arm up over the chair on their face like this, which means they're protecting their face. Mm-hmm. Okay. The other arm is across their body, which is the defensive mode once again, and it's holding on to the chair. The chair arm, holding on with white knuckles.
Wow.
What's it telling you?
Let me guess. He's about to escape.
He'd like to escape. Very good. He'd like to escape. Because the reason that he is looking off into space, he doesn't have anybody around him to help him. He's looking for help. But at the same time, he's defending himself by holding onto that chair and putting his arm across his body so nobody can get to his heart or his liver, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's protecting himself by having his hand up high over his face.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
That is something. I gotta say this. I feel very confident in that. Yeah.
Oh, the happy manager, the happy salesman. Everything is great here. And I love it when people say, well, if you agree with the person, mirror them. And mirror somebody means, you know, you do the same thing they're doing because you're in agreement. Mm-hmm. And I told my salespeople, I said, no, hey, listen, if that customer does that, don't you dare do that, because he's going to think that you're making fun of him.
or if it's like too obvious as well, too. And of course, the fact that, we're so used to people. Now you got the social media out there that the younger people are doing it with emojis, GIFs, GIFs, and everything like that. And of course, there's another chapter on that. It's like, how does that factor into body language?
I'll tell you, we'll roll right here. We go. What is emojis? Emojis are emotions. We know the body language is emotions. Mm-hmm. In all this, because I went pretty deep into the communication process. Us baby boomers like you and I, we grew up talking to people, face to face. You got to know and you felt the intuition. And by the way, ladies have 16 more intuition cells in their brain than what men do. So
and of course they're all intertwined and everything else. And us men are like straightforward. Think about it in conversation, ladies.
Yeah. So there's a reason for that. All right. Now, as we went down with technology coming into more play, emails came into play. So everybody's emailing everybody instead of talking to them. And then the younger crowd, not the X's, but the Y's and the Z's, well, everything is a text. All right. And so when you do that, communication costs, miscommunication costs,
right,
are a ton of money to any company, a ton of money, because they don't know if what that person is really saying emotionally and attitudes. They don't know the meanings of the words. And you know that. You get a text from somebody, you say, what are they mad at me for? Right?
Right. And of course, the texts are the same, the emojis are the same, the actions are the same, and it all depends on the person too. And that gets more complex.
Yes, it does. And so the younger people that we've got working right now, they don't know how to interact. I don't know if you ever bump into them at a Starbucks or a Panera Bread or something of that nature, but you try talking to them, they really don't know how to interact with you. If you're a fun person, they don't know how to have fun with you. Now, that's right, they're always on that thing. Now, remember, we said way back at the beginning of the show, you choose the words you want to say, and you choose your tone. But you can't do that with the unspoken word. That's brain controlled. Now think of this. Somebody could send you a text. They chose the words, and they also chose the emoji to send to you. Now, how do you know they're being straight up with you or not straight up with you? How do you know that? And especially in business today, Mike, we're in a global business, right?
And again, cultures come into place. And of course, mores come into place, customs come into place. And of course, the Japanese are still afraid of eye contact. Now the question is, it's like, would the apps cause all that to fail? Like, eye contact, no eye contact, anything like that?
Yeah. And the eye contact thing you got to watch out for, because when they overdo it, that's another sign of a lie. When they start to stare in your eyes, there's also another cool one, a power play, which is to stare right here at you when they're talking to you, not in your eyes, but right here. Just a little above your eyebrows, where your eyebrows are, and right just there. If you talk to someone right there, it's a power play. And then, of course, you want to get into their personal zone when you do that, uninvited, which is between 18 inches and 4 feet. And when you start putting this all together, you're watching a person that wants to control. But anyhow, getting back to the emojis and stuff, the young people have got to do that because they don't know how to express or how to learn the body. And it's a sin, like we said, because it's 80% of every conversation. When we're doing business today, just like you and I are doing business here today, right? We're many, many miles away, but we're on Zoom. We can see one another. Now, they're on Zoom and they're in Germany and they're talking to somebody in the United States. They're seeing.
Right. Who knows what's going on with them too? You never know.
That's why it's very important to learn what the brain is controlling them to do and what their emotions and attitudes are to you, because you're negotiating with them on business deals, for goodness sakes.
And certainly indeed as well too. And of course, everybody's on a 40-hour work week, 60, 80. Some people are going to 20, 30. And of course, we'll talk about your book, The Unfinished Work Week, as well too, along with the app you create as well. We'll recommend with Andy Gateriewictz. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios, and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's The Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with the amazing, multi-talented Andy Gateriewictz after this time out. We're back with Andy Gateriewictz, the founder of BodyChat.com, the author of Unfinished Work Week, and 35 years in sales management and sales training, especially in body language here on the Mike Wagner Show. We talked about, being in the workforce and communicating in business, different methods of communication. You also have like a book called The Unfinished Work Week. It's like, how long the work weeks are. And, tell us more about the book and what inspired you to write that.
Okay, the book is available on Amazon. It is called The Unfinished Work Week because in the United States of America, wherever you go, you're going to be working. They take your cell phone, you take the business cell phone, you go on vacation, they're going to call you. And it's been proven that for a worker on an assembly line or something like that, that a 40-hour work week is the most efficient week.
Mm-hmm.
Now, believe it or not, the guy that found that out was Henry Ford.
Really?
Yeah. But
8 hours. That was interesting. And what was the basis on that? That's an interesting one. I never heard of that.
Yeah. It's Henry Ford. And what he did a study, because he was the first one on conveyor belts, et cetera, et cetera. It's mundane tasks, doing things over and over again. And he's the one credited with the 40-day work week and the 40-hour work week, and it was him. That's what I read. So that's there. But now we're talking about a different case now today. A lot of people are what they call smart workers. In other words, they don't work on a conveyor belt. They're not blue collar. They're white collar. They work behind a computer. The most efficient hours for a person like that is 37 hours a week. 37, Mike.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Especially when you see people that are out there in the workforce working a hell of a lot. I'm sorry, a heck of a lot more.
No, you're good. You're good.
A heck of a lot more than 37 hours a week. Now, does that mean they're going to be making more mistakes? Yes, it does. But, and I hate to say this, but a lot of companies know that those mistakes are going to be there. Mm-hmm. But they're going to accept that inefficiency by still making them work those hours.
How you like that?
Yeah. Now, like in Europe, and you know this, Mike, you've been around a while. They don't work any 40-hour work weeks. You know that.
Mm-hmm. I had a lady on my show that lived in Barcelona, and their work days from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then when 2 p.m. hits, everything shuts down. Everybody dresses up and goes out in the streets and have fun.
Yep. And you know what? Their productivity is higher than it is in the United States.
I believe it. I'm starting to experience it myself. And, ever since I took on the show, it's like 6 hours is fine. 4 hours, even better. 2 hours, even sweeter. Just like anybody out there. 6 hours or less, it makes it go by better.
Yeah. But this is true of a human being. We're not robots yet. Well, we're not controlled by AI yet, like they did in 2001, A Space Odyssey way back in 1969.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, 2001 Space Odyssey. And I think about those movies. I think about, what was it? Planet of the Apes, everything run by the apes, and says, gosh darn you to heck, and everything like that. I can't see the actual line in that movie. I'll probably get, ratted out by the FCC or the internet trolls or whatever. So
I know, we get attacked by animal rights organizations.
Or somebody accusing us of monkeying around and such, or it's just like,
oh man, we're going to be in trouble tonight.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and of course, the bots are all after us. I mean, we'll have to let out right now, But we're confident we can do this. Yes.
Yes, that's very well. Yes, we're very confident we can do this. And the crazy thing is, when we're talking about apes and they're the first ones to use body language, cavemen.
That's right.
They didn't want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
They were, but
or
they
pulling a woman by the
communicated.
hair means I want you, babe.
Yeah, you got it, man. You're a pretty good looking cave woman. Come on, like Raquel Welch in 1 million BC.
Or Jane Fonda, where was it? Barbarella. That was like that was like, oh god, what was it? Space Age Caveman or something. All the ideas are just coming across. This is great.
Oh no, we're showing our age now, Mike.
Ah.
But anyhow, yeah, isn't that something that a caveman that was body language. The first person that spoke words that meant something, believe it or not, was an Ethiopian.
Huh. Interesting.
Way back when. Yeah. So now you just picked up a couple of tidbits of information from a researching crazy man like Andy Gateriewictz. But anyhow, getting back to the book, the book is about the unfinished work week in the United States as compared to other places. And just like in Europe, at 2:00 in Barcelona, they go home. When they go out on vacation, if their company tries to contact them, the company gets fined.
Oh, that's a good one. Wow.
Same thing in France. When it's vacation time, and you got to take at least 2 weeks vacation at a time.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yes. Yeah. And so when I got into the book, and there's a lot of miscommunication because of email, etc. At that point in time, I do have some body language aspects in the book as well because it's communication in the workplace. You've heard of all these personality tests they take, right? DISC. You've heard of the DISC?
I've heard of that. The Briggs-Myers, and I think there's oh gosh, so there was like a few others. It's like that's all I could think of at this point. So yeah, Rorschach's test, all that. Yes.
Yeah. So what they did, what those were about, was when you're putting teams together, because in the beginning when we were working out there, we were not teams. You were really competitors. But then with teams, which is much better because somebody can do something better than you can do something better than somebody else can. Much better for businesses to work as teams. So, but the thing is, they have to be able to communicate. Like you said something before, there's shy people out there. Right? Everybody's not like you and I, talking like this. So they came up with these discs, the Myers-Briggs. And by the way, Myers-Briggs, I believe, is 16personalities.com. If you go there, they took the disc, which has 4 basic personalities, and they expanded it to 16.
Oh, 16personalities.com. I'll have to look into that as well too. 16personalities.com. We encourage everybody to do that as well too. You can also use an app as well too, and they can go to bodychat.com and tell us more about that one. That's a very interesting app for those who want to get more into body language.
Did you like that one?
Yes, I did. That was fascinating. And I looked at this, I'm like, oh my gosh, you learn a lot from that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Mike. I appreciate that. Now, we made some changes to it. So I don't know if you looked at it lately, but right now on the app, I've got over 1,000 definitions over there on that app of gestures, postures, positions, and distances. Over 1,000 definitions. We've got like 50 mix and match quizzes, so you can learn and have fun learning. We've got photo quizzes, about 60 of those. We have photo quizzes, and in order to get the right answers, you got to put the right results. You got to put the right answers in, and we also have video quizzes to see if you can read it in real time. But what we did was we created 50 lessons, really lessons. So if you want to learn by lessons, we'll teach you by lessons. But if you think you know body language, and you want to learn it on your own, and you just want to do some mix and match quizzes, well, you can shift over to that one as well and do that. Or if you just want to look at the video quizzes, you can do that too. So we made it very easy to switch back from one to the other to the other. Yeah. And so we've done that with the app.
And that is so handy as well too. Where can we find bodychat.com? Where can we find your book? And where can we find all your works at?
Okay. The Unfinished Work Week, of course, is on Amazon. But the Body Chats is on both the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Underneath Body Chats, BodyChats. And if you look underneath that, or if you were to look underneath body language, if you wanted to just search for it, we'll be 1, 2, or 3 up there as it shows up over there. Right now, we're running a great special on it, $4.99 for life.
Nice. $4.99 for life. We will certainly check that out.
And that includes, because I'm going to be adding more things into it, that includes any additions I put into it.
That is so amazing. And we'll find out more about that. We're here with Andy Gateriewictz, BodyChat.com, and the author of Unfinished Work Week as well, too. And what can we expect from you in 2023 and beyond, Andy?
2023 is going to be the year. We're working on it now. I'm working on putting more definitions in there, more quizzes in there. We're looking more and more into tying in these emojis. And by the way, I've got another thing in there that we didn't talk about on the app, which you call fun facts.
Fun facts, interesting.
And what the fun facts are, just like I told you before about the ladies having those 16 more intuition neurons in their brain than what men do.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about science-based facts.
Nice.
Just like, what controls you when you see a lady sitting down with her leg bouncing up fast, right? You try doing that. Cross your legs and bounce your leg up real fast. You can't do it. You can't do it. Your brain knows about that, okay? The amygdala part of your brain controls that. So we've also got more stuff coming out there like that, more stuff, so that people can keep on trying it, learning it in different situations. It's a fun thing. And one last thing, Mike. When you get into Babbel and you get into Duolingo and people learning new languages,
mm-hmm.
All they do is go to a bookstore and get, Spanish, English dictionaries, and there's your database.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any database. There's no database out there for body language. Those came from my years of presentations and research and reading all about this stuff that I built my database. Nobody else has got a database like this.
And certainly fascinating as well, too. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Oh, the biggest influencer in my career?
Yes.
Was undoubtedly my guidance counselor in high school, who told me to go to a school, or got me into a school too, that I thought I could never get into.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, the early computers said I could never graduate from that school. But at that point in time, that was a great school. I still use things from that school. And if it wasn't for him, I never would have gone to that school.
Wow, that's rather interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what's the best advice? Oh, that's amazing. What's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
The best advice I give to anybody at this point in time? Communication. Learn how to communicate with people. Because if you don't know how to communicate correctly, you're not going to go anywhere. You're really not going to go anywhere. And I think you're starting to see that in the world today. Communication is so vitally important. And it's a global communication, so that it's very important that you just don't know the words, but you know the meaning of the words. That's what I would give them.
Mm-hmm. And very good advice indeed as well. Once again, we're with the founder of BodyChat.com, author of the book, The Unfinished Work Week, Andy Gateriewictz, here on the Mike Wagner Show, expert in body language. Andy, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot. Looking forward to having you soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. Wish you all the best. Once again, what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out works or download your app?
Okay, well, as I said before, we're on the Google Play Store under Body Chats. We're on the Apple App Store. You can go to our website if you want to. That's at body, BODY -chats, CHATS.com. It's there. And I'm an old-fashioned guy. You can call me directly, 609-410-9291. 609-410-9291. I'll be happy to talk to you about anything.
Sounds great, and we'll certainly do so. We got the phones ready to go. Once again, Andy, a very big thank you. Time being just absolutely amazing. Learned a lot. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Laugh half back. Wish y'all best. And Andy, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Oh, thank you very much, Mike. Thank you so much for having me on your show.